Hey everyone, it is Mr. Vargas here looking to help out Math 8 today with their homework on page 115 of their textbook. This is homework assignment 2.1 and we are focusing on solving one-step equations with radical coefficients. Let's jump right on in. We'll start with number 1. We've got 6 is equal to 1 over 12v. Alright, you go ahead and you build your mirror or your mountain. And remember that the variable wants to be all alone on one side of the equation. He wants the entire kingdom to himself on one side. So what we have to do is we have to figure out how to get rid of this thing that's bothering him, and this is called a coefficient because it's right in front of a variable. It's attached to the variable, and what this says is 1/12 times v. So in order to eliminate that right hand side nuisance, let's go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. And we learned about this in class, reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse. Those words should sound familiar, so let's go ahead and do just that. All I'm going to do is flip this fraction, and so the reciprocal of 1 over 12 is actually just 12 over 1, so let's multiply this side by 12 over 1. And what that does is that cancels this out, leaving us with just v on the right hand side of the equation. V is happy now because he's all by himself. But in the kingdom of math, we are always fair, so whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. Alright, and if I want to multiply a fraction by a whole number, all I have to do is write that whole number over 1, multiply straight across the top and bottom, and you would get 72 over 1, which is the same as just 72. So there's your answer for number 1. Alright, let's go ahead and check out number 2 from your homework. This one was negative 2 over 3 times w is equal to 60. Alright, I go ahead and I set up my mirror just so that I know whatever I do to one side, I always have to do to the other side. Okay, my goal is to get w by itself, and what I'm going to do to the left is actually multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply this by the flip, which is just negative 3 over 2. Negative times a negative makes a positive, and these all cancel out to be just 1w. 1w. You could think of it that way, as 1w, or you can just think of it as w by itself. But in the kingdom of math, we are always fair, so we have to multiply the other side by the reciprocal. I change this to a fraction, multiply straight across. 60 times negative 3 is negative 180. 1 times 2 is just 2. Okay, and I can bring my w on down. W is equal to, well, I know that this is just division. Negative 180 divided by 2 makes negative 90. Let me write that a little neater. Negative 90. Alright, so that is the answer for that one. Let's go back and check on number 3. Alright. So for number 3, we've got something a little bit different. It says 9.6 equals 1.2b. Alright, my b is the one, my b is the variable that wants to be all by itself. So I'm going to draw my mirror. Okay, my b needs to be alone. He wants to be by himself down here, so that's the goal. This time I've got 1.2 times b, 1.2 times b. So in order to get rid of 1.2 times b, I'm actually just going to do the opposite of multiplication. which is division. So I'm going to divide by 1.2. Sure enough, that crosses out and makes that just a 1b. But in math, we're always fair. So we must do it to the other side of the mirror. We have to divide 9.6 by 1.2. And that is equal to, well, just for practice, let's do some long division. Okay, top dog in the house. Bottom dog sleeps outside. Okay, gotta move that decimal over one time. Move it over one time, bring it on up. Alrighty, so now I'll rewrite that as 12 goes into 96. 96.0. Oh, sorry, that's confusing. 12 goes into 96, and that's just 8 times. 8 times 12 is 96. So that would actually leave you with a remainder of 0. You're done. B is equal to 8. Alright, a few more. Let's jump down to number 8, because this is a somewhat challenging problem. So number 8. We've got 2 and 2/9 is equal to negative 4 over 5 m. Alright, before we do anything, let's go ahead and let's rewrite this number on the left-hand side of the equation. Let's rewrite this as an improper fraction. And the way we do that, hopefully you guys remember this little trick. We multiply those two numbers and then add that to the top number, and that converts it into an improper fraction. So 9 times 2 is 18, plus 2 is 20, but we have to keep that denominator the same. Okay, so now we've got 20 over 9 is equal to negative 4 over 5m. And now we can work with something like this a little bit easier. Alright, I know that I need to build my mirror first. Okay. And my m is the variable. He's the king of the castle. He wants to be alone on his side. So multiply this guy right here, negative 4 over 5m. Multiply that by its multiplicative inverse. So times its multiplicative inverse, which is the same thing as a reciprocal. Flip that fraction. 5 cancels out there. 4 cancels out there. Negative times a negative makes a positive, and you're left with just m. But in math, we're always fair. Kingdom of math is always fair, so we multiply by negative 5 over 4 on the left side. And when I multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom, I get negative 100 on top and 36 on bottom. We can simplify that a little bit, dividing the top and bottom by 4. So this would be, let's divide by 4. It's a really bad 4. There we go. Divide by 4. Another bad 4. Jeez. There we go. And you should get negative 25 over 9. And that's fine to leave it just like that. I will definitely accept that answer as an improper fraction. Awesome. Well, I hope this helped you guys out a little bit. If you need more help on the rest of the homework, please come see me at tutoring from 3 to 4 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Have a nice night, and see you at school.